My guest is Marcus Aguilar, and he's with the Stormwater Division. Marcus, we want you to tell us about a new project that's come up about flood sensors. Tell us about, there's a partnership with the city for flood safety improvements. Start there and tell us what that is.
Sure. So my colleague Chuck Kirby at Virginia's Center for Innovative Technology reached out to the city. The Center for Innovative Technology, or CIT, is a Virginia nonprofit focused on advancing technology in the Commonwealth. And this particular program came about because Chuck is from the Roanoke area and obviously remembers the history of the flood of 1985.
Right.
And also understood that the stormwater team here at the city had the capacity to do this type of program. So he reached out to us and said, hey, we have some flood sensors from the Department of Homeland Security. Would you guys be interested in working with CIT on this project? And it's really something that I'm interested in, technically and professionally. So when he invited us to participate, it was sort of an easy yes for me.
So why is Roanoke a good candidate for this project?
Sure. So part of it is the flooding issues that we have in the valley. And then the other part of it is that there needs to be some technical capabilities on the staff. And so the city's stormwater division, we have folks that can work to install the sensors and use the sensors during flood events. And so I guess that's just to say that the city has the ability to actually take advantage of the program. And so I think Chuck and I understood that and saw that and decided that it would be a good fit.
So for people who don't really know, tell us what a flood sensor is. I mean, how does it work? Describe that to us.
Sure, that's a good question. So a flood sensor, or at least the one that we recently installed here in the city, it measures the depth of water in a stream and reports it to the internet using a wireless connection similar to what's on your cell phone. So that means that I can get on my computer and look at how deep water is in Peters Creek at any given time. It uses pressure to indirectly measure depth in the stream, and it uses a solar panel to power the whole system. So there's the sensor itself in the stream, and there's a sending unit that's about this big that collects the data and sends it to the internet.
And I mean, is this something we'll have to have replaced from time to time, or how long does something like that last?
Sure, it does require some maintenance.
Okay.
So periodically, because it's in a stream, you have to go make sure that debris has not accumulated on it and no damage has been caused during a flood event, for example. The life cycle of it, I would expect, would be, as long as we take care of it, 5 to 10 years probably.
Okay.
Technology advances pretty quickly, so at some point it becomes out of date. But I would expect that if we're able to really take care of the thing and there's no out of the usual environmental events, that it would last for a good while for us.
Why is using a flood sensor, why is that sort of an advanced or a preferred method over other options for protecting our lives and our property and everything here in Roanoke?
Sure. So I would say that it's one of many options. I don't know that it's necessarily a preferred method, but in the portfolio of managing flood risk in the city, it's a really good option because the technology has become very advanced. The ability to put a sensor out in the field and see data on the internet in real time is really common now, and it's really affordable to do that.
Right.
So as the city looks at flood risk management, it's an option that gives us information leading up to a flood event and during a flood event that allows us to close roads, potentially evacuate folks that are in the area, and it gives us an information base for long-range planning that we didn't have before. So it's cost-effective in that way. I would say it's not necessarily the only or the preferred option, but it's sort of one really useful option that we want to take advantage of.
And it helps us in our response whenever we know we're going to have flooding.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
If somebody who's watching has questions about this, how would they get more information? Can they call you?
Yeah, I would send an email to the stormwater email address, so that's stormwater@roanokeva.gov.
Okay.
And in the subject line, I would just put question about flood sensors. And that will get directed to me, and I'd be happy to answer any kind of questions or inquiries that you may have.
It's an exciting project, and I really appreciate you coming and sharing with us today.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.